Mazda race car in VR. Hello there everybody and welcome to OpenFed Gaming. You're listening to the OpenFed. We are driving a Mazda Atenza Group 3 car. We're driving it in a World Touring Car 700 at the Alsace Village. Now I used to pronounce it Alsace and I've been told that I was wrong, so I apologize for anybody that I've offended. Alsace Village. Okay, I'll try to remember that. We're doing 10 laps. We started 20th of 20 cars and we started with a rolling start. Now the first thing I always say when we're doing 10 laps, obviously we cannot do the whole 10 laps on one tank. And the laps are decent length, so they're going to take a little while. But I figured it out ahead of time, and we can go 5 laps, fuel up, and then do 5 more. And while we're in there to fuel up, we might as well change our tires. So we got one fuel change, okay? One fuel up. So the other thing I try to mention right at the beginning, not just for people watching, but mostly for myself playing, is know where the pit entrance is, because there's nothing worse than being on your 5th lap and knowing you have to go into the pit entrance and you can't remember where it was. So always right away, if you know you got to fuel up, you know, we don't know where the pit entrance is right now, but as we go by the grandstand, we'll take a look and see where it is. The other thing that the OpenFed always has a big problem with is counting. Not just the cars that he passes, but the laps. Now in this case, we get a little bit of help. On the dash, you can see the big number in the middle of the screen there, 2, and it goes up to 3. Those are your gears, obviously. And if you look to the bottom right-hand corner of that display panel where the number 3 is, you can see there's a little number 1. It's a little hard to see, but if you strain a little bit, you can tell. That's the lap count. Now as we're coming around the corner here, you look to the right hand side, there's the pit entrance. So you know, and your lap doesn't count until after you go by it. So now we're into our 2nd lap. After we've done our 4th lap, we go in there. And then when we come out, the 5th lap doesn't count. So just remember that. 2nd lap here right now. We don't worry about how many cars we pass, because everybody has a different strategy. Cars that you haven't passed or you have passed could be in the pit getting fuel, and some don't get fuel till later. So let's not worry about what position we're in at the moment. Let's just try and drive a nice clean race as fast as we can. Push it a little bit without spinning out in the corners. And then that way we can see if we can get into the best position possible before we got to go get fuel. Now this car is absolutely amazing. It sticks to the road like you wouldn't believe, and it handles really well. It kind of reminds me of a miniature McLaren. It drives like the McLaren did, only it's a little bit smaller car, but boy is it powerful. And I love that rear view mirror in the middle of your dash. I think that just looks awesome. It really makes it look nice. And it's a beautiful interior in the car too. And like I said, it really drives nicely. And if you drive the track the way it's supposed to and use the full width of it to try and keep your speed up, you're going to get a real nice flow going. But keep your eye on that rear view mirror, because there's always somebody behind you trying to pass you too. So you want to make sure that you keep an eye on that. Now sometimes right in this position here you can squeeze on the inside and get by it, but the green car blocked you. And that's okay. We get ample more opportunities because we're only just finishing our 2nd lap. So, and when you're in a situation like this here, it's best, rather than trying to get all chaotic, you know, sometimes it's better off to stay behind it. But I try to keep an even speed going. Whatever speed I'm doing on the straights, I keep doing that regardless of whether there's cars there or not, you know, without hitting them, of course. And the same thing with the corners. I try to keep my speed up in the corners, and if there's a car there, I'll try to take them wide. Or if there's room, I'll try to cut them on the inside. You know, and that way you keep your speed up. So that way you're always moving up in position, always trying to better yourself. And even if you can't get by him, stay with him. Don't let the guy get away on you, because if you can't get by him because he's going that fast, obviously he's catching the guy in front of him, which is ultimately what you're trying to do, right? So it doesn't matter if you get by him as long as he's going fast. Then here's another opportunity right here in this section where if you were close enough behind him, you could have cut it tight to the left and you could have passed him. So there are a few places. I was lucky there. He slowed down quite a bit for that corner. I wasn't expecting that, you know, to tell you the truth. But as you can see, there are several places where you can actually pass a car. So there's no reason why you can't systematically, over 5 laps, pass 2 or 3 cars per lap. That's 15 cars, and you have to pass 19 altogether. So after 5 laps, we should be sitting pretty good, but we will see that when we go in for fuel, okay? So that's when we'll check on the display, we'll see how bad our tires are, we'll see how much fuel we have left, and how much actually we used in the 5 laps. Because you don't want to be, you know, something on the fumes. Now, this here, okay, I didn't do it here, but on the very next one, the next time we come through here, I'll mention it. You watch how I take the guy inside. I'll explain to you how I do it. As we're coming up around the corner here, this is quickly finishing off our 3rd lap. Where I tell you there's 10 laps, quite a few, and they're quite lengthy to do. But once you start driving them, it's amazing how quickly they go by. Okay? So now we are in our 4th lap. This one and one more. Then we go get fuel. Now these graphics on the track is absolutely awesome. Now it's not one of my top favorite. It is one of my favorite for layout. The graphics are great. The graphics are always great, but sometimes the scenery is better in one track than it is in another. But the layout on this particular track, like going around this corner where you can keep up the speed pretty good without pushing yourself right off the track, and the way the track just flows from corner to corner with straight stretches in between, it's very satisfying to drive at a high speed. It's a lot of fun. So I gotta admit, the layout is one of my favorite, you know, and the car. If you gotta pick the right car, which doesn't always work, because I've done races before where I picked a car where it was sliding all over the place, or I would change to a different car and I just couldn't find it. But for some reason I picked this Mazda Atenza, and it's flown under my radar because I've never really noticed it before in my garage. And I picked it to drive it today, and I tell you, it is just fantastic. I just love it, and I'm thinking I'm going to be driving it in a few more races coming up. That's how much I enjoy it. Anyhow, as we're coming up around the corner here, our 4th lap already is quickly coming to an end. Now over here on this corner, like I said, I always kind of go to the outside, then come in, wait for him to move, and then cut him on the inside. And if you're close enough behind them, you can do that every time, because they always veer and move to the outside because of the turn. So cut it short, cut it on the inside. We do it a few more times, you'll notice it. You know, but it's just something you pick up after a while. And if you can pass cars like that, then you don't have to do it in a chaotic, erratic way. Do it in a clean way. Okay, we're gonna go one more lap. Let's get back past this Viper. Obviously, we are not car number 1 right now, because there's still a car in front of us there. And there is no way that I would have lapped anybody in 4 laps. So, obviously I'm not car number 1. I'm at best car number 2. But I'm sure I'm close near the front of the pack anyhow. Well, we're going to find out soon as this lap is over. Like I said, look at it. Even got the nice yellow mustard flowers or dandelions, one of the two. Somebody is growing dandelions into an Olympic sport over there, because I don't think they're mustard fields. Anyhow, as we're coming up to this corner here, we're catching up to this guy, and I do believe do believe he is car number 1, which makes us car number 2. And I do believe I think he's going to get fuel with us at the same time. But we'll find out in a minute here. Oh, we might be passing him and then we won't know if he comes into the garage with us. Anyhow, there's no point, if he's car number 1, there's no point in trying to race by him. You race by him and you make a mistake and drive off the track, and it could cost you a lot of time. And not to mention that it's not a lot of fun if you run off the track. It's not a lot of fun if you run into the car. It's only fun if you win and run a good race. You know, that's enjoyable. So we're gonna sneak by him on this side. And like I was gonna say, we're gonna take our time and then sneak by him when we can, so as to avoid any kind of collision. Now, as we come around the corner here, we're gonna go in and get fuel and change our tires. Now, if he doesn't need as much fuel as we do, he's gonna come out of the pits before us. Okay, so let's just keep an eye on it and see what happens. Okay, we're gonna go in for fuel here and we'll see what our display says. Okay, we could use new tires. We need at least 3/4 of a tank of fuel, and that other car came in with us, but I do believe he's going to leave before us. Now that Viper already passed, and we are now in 2nd, and now we're in 3rd. Okay, so we're in 3rd place behind him. So he's in 2nd place. This is a Suzuki Swift, I think it said on the screen. Anyhow, we've got 5 laps, and we've got 2 cars to pass that are in front of us. And the Viper has to go in for fuel, so we don't have to worry about him because we'll pass him when he fuels up. So the only car we have to worry about is this guy. Now, when you're driving a 10-lap race like this, and you're in the front as a lead car, if you have been racing fast enough, and there's a few cars that are really slow, you'll end up lapping the back cars, the back of the pack. You know, car number 20, car number 19. The unfortunate part is, like say now, if I passed him, there'd just be the Viper until I pass him when he goes to the pit stop. So but then I'd be driving by myself, which that's okay. But like I've mentioned before on here, the OpaFed doesn't like to drive as a lead car. I prefer to be the chaser rather than the chasee because I tend to slow down when I drive as a lead car, and then the cars behind me catch up, and Dave passed me before where I wasn't paying attention, and it just happens, you know. So I prefer to be the chaser. So for me to sit behind him for a while, for a few laps, that's okay. I don't mind that at all, you know. So there's the Viper coming up. So as we're coming up, we're almost finished with this lap. And it's really hard to see what lap it is. That's lap number 6. And that screen is really, really small. And then when the sun shines in, beautiful as it looks, it's even harder to see. So, but as we're coming around the corner here, we're finishing this lap. And like I said, I do believe it's lap number 6. Now the Viper, I think he went in for fuel. Okay. So now, the guy in front of me is car number 1, and I'm car number 2, and we are starting lap number 7. So, if I passed him now, then the only thing I could do is drive as hard as I can, which is what I'm going to do, and get as big a lead as possible. Because there again, like I said, he went in and got fuel when I went and got fuel. So he's not going to go back into the pits again. Okay? He's going to stay out. But we have no idea what kind of a lead we got. Now we can still see him in the rearview mirror on the monitor. And as soon as he is out of sight from the monitor, it equates to about 2 to 3 seconds worth of time. Okay? So at 2 to 3 seconds worth of time, if I overshoot the corner here and end up on the grass, he'll pass me. And then I'll have a heck of a time trying to catch back up to him again. But I'll still be okay because we got so much track left to run. But the best thing to do is to drive a clean race and try and keep an even pressure on. That's why I like to drive even speed, because then when I do take over as lead car, I keep my even speed going and I know that my gap is going to get bigger. So that's what I've been practicing on, to try and drive a little bit more of an even speed, even through the corners and even through the straight stretches. In the meantime, that's the best you can do. So all we can do now is just put our pedal to the metal as we're coming up around the corner. If we do see any cars, we know that it'll be car number 20 and car number 19, because we've passed all the other cars. Coming through the uprights here, or whatever you want to call those things, I'm not sure what they call them. We're finishing up another lap, and this race is quickly coming to a close, because we are going to start lap number 8 here. Boy, that was quick. That was quick. I mean, it's a quick race, but it's starting to get dusky, as you can tell. The sun is starting to go down. Beautiful race, though. Absolutely gorgeous. Just love the scenery. Love the graphics. Love the gameplay. Love the car. Just having a great time. I got my VR headset just to play Gran Turismo. Now I know it's a lot of money, and it is, but everybody's got to make a choice for themselves. As far as the gameplay is concerned, I know if people try it, if it doesn't make you sick, you're going to love it. Cost factor is mainly dependent upon each individual. It was worth it for me, and I've enjoyed it. It's been a lot of fun. Anyhow, we are ripping around. As you can see, the sun is getting lower and lower. It gives a whole different atmosphere to the race as we're flowing through these corners. But I just love the person who laid out these tracks in real life. You know, they must have studied these tracks and they must have ran them before they even made them. You know, it's just absolutely amazing. Anyhow, as we're coming around the corner here, like I keep pushing people to do, use the full width of the track so you don't have to slow down so much. This here is one corner that sometimes I spin out a little bit on, or the other one that I spin out a little bit on is this one right here. So you just gotta hold off, see, just a little bit. If I would have held off a little bit longer, it wouldn't have done that. But because I was still coming out of the corner, I tried to kick the rear end around. This thing's got a lot of power, you know, a lot of power, a lot of fun to drive. And here we're coming back down the hill, over here again by the grandstand one more time. And now we are into our 9th lap. Second last lap, boy, I tell you. It sure flies by quick when you're driving by yourself, because there is nothing to slow you down, nothing to get in your way. Nothing to get anxious about trying to pass, but I did see a car up ahead there. I don't know if you noticed that. It looked like a little red car. There he is. There he is. You see that? That's got to be car number 20, because there's no way that's car number 1. Because he'd be going a heck of a lot faster if that was car number 1. So this has got to be car number 20. So that's my first vehicle I've lapped here today. Well, not yet, but I will right now. Okay. And we're just going to keep hammering it down until we're done, because we're not quite there yet. You can physically see that sun is even lower than the last lap. Maybe by the time we come through here one more time, it'll be almost down behind those trees. As we're coming up around the corner here, we're still... See, now we're starting to slow down a little bit, and I don't know if that's because I've been riding the lead for so long, or if it's because I'm getting tired. Maybe a little both. You never know. But that's okay. We can hold it together for one more lap after this. As we're coming up around around the corner. Now remember this corner here, let up a little bit, don't hammer it too soon so you don't spin out. Keep some nice traction going. Here we go. Okay. You can see the grandstand down below. As the final lap flag is coming out. I tell you, it's been a long race, but I do think we are number one in this race. I don't think the Opafed's going to lose this one anymore now. I think that our closest competitor is quite a bit behind us, and is not going to catch up unless I blow the motor in the car, which is not going to happen. We're not going to do that. We're going to keep ripping this little Mazda Atenza around the track until we see that checkered flag, because the Opafed wants to win this race. This has been just an absolutely awesome race. I really love this one. This has been one of my favorite races, even though it isn't one of my top tracks. But then again, like I said, this is one of my top tracks for layout. But looks has nothing to do with how the car will race around the track. There's a few tracks that I really like for layout, because they really let you go. So it's a lot of fun to drive those ones. Anyhow, sun a little bit lower again, coming around here. There you go. It's not quite behind the trees yet, but it's getting close. Which means that we're almost at the finish line. And we're coming around the corner here. One more of these here tight turns. This corner here, she just hugs it like you wouldn't believe. And then you flow right back to the left. Take it a little wide, and then you come around to that corner where you gotta slow down. And to the right, go up the little hill. Make sure you don't spin on the top of the hill. Absolutely awesome. Really love this one. Really, really love this one. I hope you enjoyed it too. And if you did, give us a thumbs up. We got a lot more of these coming up in the near future. If you don't want to miss any, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Until we see you again the next time, you've been racing with the Opafed.